Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
All right, you guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni.
How are you?
I am pretending like I don't have a headache. How are you?
I'm pretending like I'm not laughing at you for saying that. Okay. I'm so sorry to hear that, friend.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awful.
you for your compassion at this time.
Wow.
I'll be all right.
Well, and last week it was funny too because you said you don't look like the hard choices. Yeah, would you? Same. It's giving the pink hair again. It's a whole pink outfit. It's so cute. I like it.
I went pink on that. What was it? The check up on it video.
I forgot about that.
I'm here to remind you.
Okay. I like it. All right, excellent. So we made it back.
We did.
Another week of podcasting, friends.
So let me sit back. When I sit forward, I look like my head looks enormous.
Oh God. Let me lean back too.
Let me.
My forehead's already extra large, so I don't need it looking any bigger. God, you can barely see my hairline with the lights and stuff. Anywho,
you have the elegant forehead of an Ethiopian princess.
Sure.
That's what you're giving today, too.
Thank you.
Ethiopian princess.
Thank you. I was trying to bring
excellence.
Some kind of fanciness to this because of our author today. The book that you picked for us to read this week is Brothas Be, Yo Like George, Ain't That Funkin Kinda Hard on You? George Clinton. He is our author along with Ben Greenman, and it's a memoir, and I'm excited to get into it.
I am too.
Yeah. So what made you pick this? Before I give the little synopsis, what was the...
Well, it was the wheel that picked it, of course.
Of course. But how did it get on the wheel?
Put it on the wheel?
Yeah.
Why did I put it on the wheel? It was Sinners. I had been wanting to read this ever since I saw his interview on Drink Champs.
Let's go.
And it was an amazing interview. It's worth, if you've seen it before, rewatch it.
Okay.
There was so much in that. And I was like, wow, I don't think about George Clinton enough because he's been the soundtrack of my life. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like anybody I've listened to has been influenced by him somehow. And then after seeing Sinners and just getting that power of music, I was like, let me tap into a master.
Let's go. Well, I like that. What a great sort of
reason.
reason. I'm into it.
All right.
I'm definitely into it. So, you guys, let me read this to you. A little synopsis about the book. Brothas Be, Yo Like George, Ain't That Funkin Kinda Hard on You? By George Clinton and Ben Greenman is a memoir that explores Clinton's life and career, particularly with the Parliament-Funkadelic collective. The book delves into the evolution of funk music, the challenges Clinton faced within the music industry, and the impact of his work on hip-hop. It also includes his personal anecdotes and stories about collaborations with other musicians and the insights into the psychedelic and sci-fi influences that shaped his sound. So, wow, I'm hearing Afrofuturism. I'm hearing just, I love the evolution story. I can kind of see.
Do we know when it was published?
I can look it up.
Okay. I was just curious as to...
It wasn't that long ago. I think I have it. If you want to give a little bit about our author, I'll look that part up.
Sure. Okay, so Dr. Funkenstein.
Let's go.
George Edward Clinton is a Black American musician, producer, and songwriter who is considered a legend in the funk genre. Born in 1941, he's the mastermind behind the bands Parliament and Funkadelic, also known as P-Funk. In the 1970s, Clinton revolutionized R&B by incorporating influences from Jimi Hendrix, Frank Zappa, and Sly Stone to create a unique and an influential style of funk. His music drew on Afrofuturism, psychedelia, surreal humor, and outlandish fashion.
Let's go.
And let's see, he's from North Carolina, and he's married to Carlon Thompson. And he's got a bunch of kids, too.
Bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, this book was 416 pages. Actually, that says the Kindle edition, but it was published October the 21st, 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Okay, so
a little more than
over
10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So friend. Okay, don't look at my computer, okay? Because
I shan't.
I have a song to sing to you right now. I don't want to forget the words.
Okay. I'm getting serenaded, you guys.
Okay. So think Confessions by Usher. Okay, these are my confessions. Like right in there, okay? This is the hardest thing I think I ever had to do. Got me talking to myself how I'm gonna tell you about this book you picked. How I swore I was reading it. But girl, I ain't even started and I'm winging it.
What?
I lied to you.
Oh,
I lied to you.
like Sammy.
Yes.
I love the blues.
I love the blues though.
Okay.
So I waited to tell you.
You know what? And now I don't feel bad because while you were singing, I was thinking it sounded more like R. Kelly.
Oh, well, listen, it's all influencing together. I'll try to get my little wavy voice in on there.
Okay.
This is the Fake Ass Book Club. Let me just to put that out there.
Oh.
I mean, I read not a page, but what I did do, I watched an interview on YouTube.
Okay.
I was looking into it. I looked at stuff, but I didn't read the book.
I looked at stuff. Looked at stuff. Let's go.
This guy.
I knew something was up. Because when I asked you if you read, full disclosure, I didn't finish it. So I was like,
how you finish it? Yeah, look, she didn't have no faith in me. That's messed up.
No, it's not that. Because I wasn't shocked. I was just like, oh, Moni figured it out. Okay.
She
found
had the
cheat
keys.
code.
Right.
I couldn't find the big mushroom, so I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Just lie and pretend, okay? You just lie and pretend is what you do, Kat. That's how it's done.
I'm usually so good at that.
So I took a master class. That's right, out of your page or your book there. No, but I mean, honestly, any book that gets suggested at this point where I have to sit down and read it, it's just not, unless it's a children's book, I'm not gonna do it. Like you said, it'd be too much happening. Okay.
Let's dedicate this fake ass episode.
All right. Let me take a sip of my water.
Guys.
Negroes, you know what I mean?
This is heavy. It's about to be summer break mode vibes.
In real life, okay?
For real.
In real time. All right, guys. So if you're new here, every episode, guys, we want to dedicate this episode. So hands over your hearts, everyone. As always, we would like to dedicate this episode to our patrons. You guys, thank you so much for your continued support. We truly appreciate your efforts to support the show. If you're not a patron, slide over to Patreon, the Fab Podcast, why do I always mess that up? I'm not sure. www.patreon.com/the Fab Podcast.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. And then if I had to dedicate this episode, I'm going to dedicate this to me. Because I tricked you, and that was fun. What about you, friend?
You know what? I always say you should be honored more. So this is definitely on track with that. I got a bunch of dedications.
Let's go.
I got dedications out the wazoo. So first, I want to dedicate this to the mural I just finished with Boxy Artist and Sophia. Also, big shout out to Sophia. It's her birthday.
Yay, happy birthday.
So she's having a gathering at Gather 22. Excellent restaurant.
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness.
Never been.
We got to go.
Period.
Well, I don't think you met the owners. I met them at Harder Brunch one time.
Okay.
Pedro and Adam.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's go.
I'm sorry, not Pedro. Forgiveness. Pablo.
Okay.
Pablo and Adam. Oh my goodness. And so they were awesome. They were a vibe, but the food, it's what I imagine a burger from Bob's Burgers tastes like.
Ooh.
It was so good.
Okay.
So yeah. And all the other May birthdays, there's so many, my mama, my cousins, everybody. Other dedication, going to the Pacers who made it to the semifinals.
Oh yeah.
Of the NBA.
Of the NBA.
Yay.
Yay.
So I'm trying to, we live in a sports town, so I'm trying to participate in culture more. So this is huge for the city.
It is.
So semifinals the day this airs.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's Wednesday the 21st.
Let's
go.
go.
Go Pacers. So this is gonna come out, this airs 7:30. So the Pacers will be playing right now.
Okay.
Getting it, hopefully.
Awesome.
So dedication over.
Excellent. That was nice.
Thank you.
That.
Yeah.
Very
Tied it
good.
all together.
You did. We're so good at that.
But also, Is this bad? Am I hitting things? I do that. I'm sorry. All of this.
Yeah, she's very animated, guys.
And also this Wednesday, George Clinton will be performing at the Mirage.
Wild.
Or I'm
That's
sorry,
crazy.
National.
Old National?
Old National in the Egyptian room. We
Yeah.
know
For
about
the
that.
old people, it's called the Mirage. That's what we know it as.
Yes, for the vintage people, we
vintage
know what
list.
it is. But yeah, if something weird happens and I'm able to go, I'll be so happy.
Oh my gosh. What an icon, though. He is fascinating. I am going to put this on my list of books. And actually, maybe, you know how who was the lady that decoded?
Was it
Miss
what's her
something.
name?
Doesn't matter. Shout out to you. Somebody needs to do this. Somebody needs to go ahead and read and put it on
you
YouTube.
know what? You know what?
Because I couldn't find it.
Here's what I did. Okay,
But it's
I
the
couldn't
robot
sit-
voice, isn't it?
No,
though?
but I got a specialized one.
Just say ding dong and I'm sprung. I spring every time a bell is rung. I'm not a ding-a-ling. I'm not a ding dong. Mine is another story. Told of a goddamn laboratory.
You were listening to it that fast?
Where's the logic in a roll? That's lodged in your head till you're dead. US Custom Coast Guard Dog, which functioned as a kind of title track. Tied together
Because
various
I
strands of
got
that
like
Turn that off. I
Okay.
hate it so much. There's
well
no-
here this is how it
Basic and
sounds.
animal behaviors. US Custom Coast Guard Dog. I spring every time a bell is rung. I'm not a ding-a-ling.
No.
Not a
Quit saying
Ding-a-ling.
dingling.
ding-dong.
Turn
Mine
it
is another story.
off,
Told of a
friend.
goddamn laboratory.
So yeah, I had Daniel. That was Daniel.
I don't like him.
Okay, it was funny to me hearing this like British accent with George Clinton's words, especially
Ding-a-long,
every time he
ding-ding.
said the N word. It was pretty great. So to me, that kept me engaged because I was gonna try to read it on the way to Ohio yesterday and on the
Okay.
way back, because I knew I'd just be riding, but like
do
sitting
it.
and riding in the car and reading, I just went to sleep.
That part. It just rocks you. It's so hard. It's so hard once you sit still to not fall asleep.
And I never used the accessibility function of read the screen before.
Which is dope, by the way, for those who need it.
It is.
We
So I
like
was
it.
like, okay, this is going to be my go-to now, because at first I
That's
didn't
what's
like
up.
it, but once I got used to it.
Okay, I could get used to it. It's like,
Yeah,
whoa.
it's just like, whoa. Because at first it was Samantha, that was the voice. And I didn't want to, I'm like, no, I want it to be a dude, since this is a dude story. And then, because I basically, the way I'm
He
used
was
to
reading so
consuming
fast.
books now is while I'm doing my chores.
Yeah, same.
So I'm programmed for that now. So sorry, books.
Oh, it's a fake book club, man. We're doing our best, okay? Jeez, trying our hardest,
Oh man, you
okay?
missed out on a wow.
Well, I'm excited to be here because I know you're gonna do it justice by telling me
my
what's
gosh,
going
I
on.
should've
So that's
taken
what
better
you're doing for
notes.
everybody.
So the part I was just playing now was about a song he wrote about what happens to the drug sniffing dogs. That
Do their
narcs
brains
use.
decay from like drug use?
Yes.
That's messed up.
Yeah, like once they stop using them, they just wither away. Like they have these really sad existences.
no.
I'm surprised like PETA doesn't make a bigger deal out of it, because they get these dogs addicted to drugs, and then once they crash out, they just abandon them. Like not in the woods or anything, but like
They just put them down?
No, I mean probably.
Yeah, I think if more people knew about that, there would be outcries in the streets, especially the way we
I would
love
just like
our-
just let people sniff coke. I would
Wow.
rather that than y'all do
Oh my
that
God,
to
that's
these innocent
crazy.
creatures. Because at least the people sniffing coke have a
They're
choice.
trying, yeah. This is like what they're going
But dogs are cool, man. They don't deserve that.
No, that's actually really sad. Okay, listen,
Yeah.
see, I'm missing gems like this, friend.
This is why I wanted to read the book though,
Okay.
because he was dropping so much game on that Drink Champs episode.
Drink
So
Champs.
I was like, yeah, I need to get some more game from this man. He's only like, he's 83 years old. So he was
Damn,
just like
he's still
10 years
going.
younger than my grandmother.
Okay.
And so it's wild to think about, like, yeah, you've seen some stuff.
That's what we're learning. They've had some lives. And it was his memoir again was in the 400s too. It's like, I guess if you make it to 80, like you're going to have a
Got some
nice,
stuff
or
to
some
talk
70s.
about.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely got some stuff to talk about. Well, so of course I didn't read it though. So just a little bit about his formative years. He was born in an outhouse. I thought that was a pretty interesting. I saw that quote a lot in him saying like, yeah, like my birthright is funk. Technically, I was like, ain't that
In survival.
Hey, that part.
Oh.
100%. Like, totally thought I was just going to the bathroom and here you come, a baby. Can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine,
No.
friend?
No, I can't imagine using an outhouse. I remember when my
Let
mom
alone
described that to
having
me.
a
Like, 'cause
baby.
my mom grew up in the South, so when she stayed with her grandmother, she'd have to use an outhouse.
Ooh-wee.
Didn't care for it.
Oh my God.
And
Didn't care. Hated it.
you have to think, my mother is a person who doesn't even like being outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
let alone.
she doesn't do outside. She, to this day, she's never been to one of my daughter's like games or events or anything.
Because it's outside.
It's outside. Like, I ain't doing all that. Now she'll go to an orchestra concert all day. She's going to one Tuesday. That's inside.
Indoors. Okay. All
Also, great skin. Like,
yeah,
it's-
that is true. looks awesome. Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, her and my aunt, they're just like, we don't do things outside.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no.
Well, that was crazy to me because I'm like, wow, he is not even like you have to be that old to remember that though, I guess. Because you're saying your mom, who's younger than him, remembers outhouses.
You just have to be country.
Wow. There you have it.
Well, and
Sounds
not
like
for nothing though. Even in Indiana, that was
pretty country.
like where IPY is now. They used to all be black people.
Oh yeah.
And they would talk about how like a lot of those places didn't have indoor plumbing either. And so
man.
like, yeah,
Hate
that
to
was the
see
whole
it.
thing. So that's why they felt fine. They're like, oh, we'll just tear this down and get out here.
Build
darkies.
something new. Scoot. Skedaddle.
Skedaddle.
Yeah, man. Okay. Well, it said that it kind of delved into, you know, his start into funk music. Like he was really into doo-wop from what I understand. And he had like a little doo-wop group or was it a quartet? Like an actual quartet that he was in? With
That's
some
not in
friends
my
at the
notes,
barbershop.
but yes, barbershop. Well, he owned a
quartet.
barbershop.
Yeah, and did hair.
And
Him
he did Patti LaBelle's
Let's
hair.
go. I said,
Yeah.
okay, let's talk
Listen,
about
he goes
that.
down to the barbershop.
Oh my, it really does.
You get so much game from the barbershop. It's
Well, and it just taps into like the style component too. You know, like I think when I think about George Clinton, not only is the music iconic, I mean, he has these out of this world fashion and looks and stuff like that.
Album
I mean,
covers.
I'm not exactly, I was like, this was, I put on some giant earrings and like some hand jewelry, but this isn't, but I was like, I got to do something. I got to put something on
Some
to be,
funk.
some
Yeah,
kind of funk,
something
some kind of like
funky.
jazz it up some. Because I mean, he always brought it. He would have the colored extensions and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if he got into that.
He would
Lots
do
of pink hair.
A lot of times it'd be little pink streaks. in
Yeah.
there.
So that makes sense that was sort of where that came from, you know, his kind of roots in the barbershop and all that kind of stuff. So what other kind of things do we get into in the book, friend? Like what we got going on?
Ricky Racism shows up.
What?
Yeah.
I'm waiting on the animation, friend. I know you're busy. It's something to look forward to, but I can't wait to see him scoot across our YouTube as we're talking
Once
about him.
Ricky Racism
Yeah, looking like
gets-
Speedy Gonzalez or something.
Well, no, because that's also racially insensitive.
I know. Well, it's gonna have to be though.
And
You guys are
Slowpoke Rodriguez.
You guys are going to have to understand that the little logo for Ricky Racism is going to be politically incorrect. It has to be.
Yeah, it's gonna
That's
be
the whole
culturally
point.
insensitive.
Yeah, like that's the whole
Yeah.
point.
But yeah, he being from North Carolina, he came up against some racism.
Hate that. Hated it.
Let's see. Tom Joyner comes up. I guess Tom
Oh.
Joyner used to smoke crack? Or like stole his crack pipes at some point?
Who?
Oh, crack shows up.
Oh my God.
Like, sorry. First crack shows up. Because of course there's, you know, it's psychedelics, right? So the drug culture was a big part
My
of Parliament.
God. Okay.
Oh, because he said also too, back when he was naming the group, everybody, like all the black artists, they named themselves after cigarettes and like stuff
Oh.
like that. So that's why they were Parliament.
Oh,
Parliaments
God, you
and stuff like
cigarettes.
that. And so, but yeah, lots of it seems like
Whoa.
LSD was a big popular one.
But I mean, crack and LSD, correct me if I'm wrong. Are they in the same family though, exactly? In terms of what they do?
I don't background.
I'm going to say they're in different classes.
I would agree with you. It sounds like they started with acid, and then just because they were just in the game so long, crack came on the scene, and it was a party drug. They did all the party
got
drugs.
you. So it's like we're doing it all.
Yes,
Got
he
you.
was saying that.
Wow.
I actually didn't. I only got 76% done with the book. So I didn't get to the part where he gets off of crack.
Ooh.
So he's still solidly on crack
when you're
I
reading.
stopped reading. I only know he got off crack because he was on Drink Champs.
Okay, and said it.
And stuff like that.
But Tom Joyner was with him doing crack?
So this was the part I didn't understand because some of the parlance I didn't understand because I don't really do drugs like that. So he had said something about like he was somewhere and like Tom Joyner stole his in somebody else's crack pipes. And then when they found him, he had tipped them upside down and drained them, which I don't know what that means. I don't know if that meant he was like dumping it. I don't understand, like, because he was saying it was a crackhead sin. I don't know what the crackhead sins are.
Whoa.
So it was a part
maybe
of
all the
book
residue
that,
leaves the crack pipe. That like maybe it's like a cast iron skillet. Like you
sounds
got to
to me
leave
like
all
he
the
don't like-
goodness.
he didn't like Tom Joyner. He don't like Tom Joyner.
That's hilarious.
It sounds to me because he was like, it seems like to me like he was talking about how Tom Joyner used to always light him up every time he got busted for drugs, but he always left out like the
That
fact
he was
when
right
he
there.
Was in, Yeah. So I don't know. Allegedly.
Okay.
So don't come for me. I'm just reading. I'm just telling you.
Or
what
you
I
could.
read.
That could
That's
be
just something that
entertaining.
stood out for me. He worked with so many artists.
Yes.
So many artists, like, and just his to me, he's a pure artist to me.
What makes a pure
The
artist?
fact that he doesn't want to stay in any lane, because he talked about a lot of times he was considered too white for black audiences and too black for white audiences, but he's like, I never went that route because I liked the Rolling Stones. I liked everybody.
He was a Beatles
like Queen.
super fan.
Yeah, like he's like everybody who I saw artistry in. I
Pulling
funked
from
with
it.
them.
Yeah, I funked
you
with
know, like that was a big part of it.
I like that.
I guess Pedro Bell, I was going to look him up because he's an artist who did some of their iconic artwork for the covers and never wanted to be paid for it. That was what was interesting to me, just the
Really?
amount of people who didn't even really care. It wasn't about the money. Like, obviously you need money,
Yeah.
but it wasn't about getting money. It was about advancing their craft. And
Did he really touch on, so like you're saying, like of course he had the influences of like the Beatles and other bands like that. What was like the Afrofuturistic sort of part, you know, like I know he was famous for putting a spaceship on the stage and all that kind of stuff. Like where did that come from exactly? Is it like science fiction?
LSD.
Oh, the drug.
Well, and also another thing that came up, this would have been funny if you had read the book. Big Star Trek fan.
Shade. For somebody who only got 76% through
that
the
is
book.
a passing grade.
But it's also failing. 'cause
No, it's not. C's
It's
get
all or
degrees.
nothing. You don't
No,
even get
it's
to rate the
not.
book.
Not with the classes I took.
You don't get to rate the book though.
Nope, nobody. You don't either.
Exactly. And you did
Nobody
76%, and I did 0, and we're at the same point. That's all I'm saying.
But no, I think, I actually have that, Star Trek
Trek.
Mothership connection. He loved Star Trek, especially because of its vision of a united future for humanity.
Aw, that's what's
and
up.
stuff like that. So that was just, he always loved cartoons.
Okay.
Like he was super into cartoons. Just a lot of parallels where it's like, yeah, these are both arts that I really, really dig. He also was one of the first people who saw a screening for Star Wars.
Oh, really?
And just about how the impact. He said he was mostly impacted by the sound because it was one of the first times I think Dolby or something was used and stuff like that.
That
And
surround
then
sound, like getting in that soul with
I
the
think
music.
John Williams composed the opening score or something like that. So that's what really hit him. He said when he saw it later, it didn't hit as hard when it wasn't in theaters. He also, because they would create these characters like Dr. Funkenstein.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about
and
that.
Bootsy.
Yeah, yeah.
Bootsy was his
God,
own
Bootsy
character.
Collins, man.
And when we say Bootsy Collins, we're not talking about Lil Bootsy.
No,
Is that what the rappers?
Lil Bootsy, yeah,
Okay.
not him.
So we're not talking about him.
Yeah.
We're talking about Bootsy,
Bootsy
Collins
Collins,
with the
man.
star
He was
glasses
far out,
and
man.
stuff. And yeah, just this that evolution and how I think I don't know who was Star Child. Like that was one of the characters they came up with because there's this idea of like they would always summon the starship at the end of the show and actually having to learn because they used to start the show with summoning the starship, but they realized like that needs to be the climax. Like everything kind of just went downhill from there.
there.
They
Right.
lost
There's
the
no
crowd.
going up.
Yeah, like nothing
yeah.
outperformed that, so they had to figure that out.
What do you think that was about? Why do you think that they chose to do the alter egos and stuff like that? What was the...
I think that's just part of showmanship.
Yeah.
Like even the fact that Beyonce said she has to become a character to do what she does, like she becomes
Yeah,
Sasha
Sasha
Fierce
Fierce.
and stuff like that.
Makes
I
sense.
think even the fact that I'm kind of playing a character on this podcast.
For sure, yeah.
You know, like I can't be this zany in real life. No one's going for that.
Yeah.
So
Not yet. You're right.
Yeah.
Not buying it. No.
no one's trying to do all
Stupid.
that. So this sort of, and it made me think of Steven Universe, Greg Universe.
Oh.
You know his
With the long
dad?
mullet.
Yes,
Yeah.
where he would get, and that was his, I think, stage name, Star Child.
his alter ego.
Yeah, like he was it's this idea of, and I think it ties in well to decentering yourself as the center of the universe when you think about what's beyond our tiny little planet. Because we're actually quite small.
I remember that. I read that somewhere.
Did you read that somewhere?
I may have.
Okay, so I think that's what ties into it a little
like
bit.
that.
But yeah, when I was leaving off, it was what was also really interesting and why I wanted to read the book too was just the workings of the business. Because he never really concerned himself with that much because he was just, like I said, just artistry. But
he probably got taken advantage if I had to guess.
No? Probably.
Oh no, it was real bad.
Because his estimate is that he lost out on billions of dollars.
Oh my.
Because of how many times the rights to his music were sold without his knowledge. And like I said, he's cool, you know what I mean? But there were times where he had to make moves because he almost lost his farm. Also, not for nothing, I've never bought any, but from what I hear, crack is expensive. Like drugs in general are expensive. And so a lot of it went to that.
Ugh.
So
hate to see it. Terrible investment.
And of course, lawyers, because then they have to get you out of trouble for all the charges and stuff. He almost set himself on fire like Richard Pryor.
Oh, no.
Apparently, crack
it's highly flammable.
I guess. Like, well, I think with Richard Pryor, he was using a blowtorch to light up the crack pipe, which was maybe a little
God damn,
overkill.
you're just doing show. Yeah, come on now. How fancy? How? My God,
And, I don't know.
That seems a bit
We probably need
much.
to read Richard Pryor. Does he have a book?
Probably.
Because I just remember him telling a story one time about how at a certain point his crack dealers stopped serving him.
They're like, absolutely not, sir.
Because they're just like, man, I'm destroying a legend. He's like, you know how bad off you have to be for a crack dealer to tell you no?
That's so true. Good. I'm glad they told his ass no. No, I'm not doing this.
But yeah, it was, he had quite the life. He was a bit of a philanderer, if you can believe that.
What?
Yeah.
Not him. I thought he was the one and only that may
Even
not have.
though he wasn't even the one getting they used to call him No Pussy getting Georgia.
Oh, no,
He had a
why?
nickname too. Because a lot of times his persona would like scare the girls off because he wasn't trying to be sexy. Like the sex he got was pretty much because he said a lot of times the girls he wanted, or at least earlier on, didn't want him. And then the girls that were coming after him, he was scared of. So
oh no.
it was, yeah.
Isn't
it was
that
like
funny
a
what
whole
you
thing.
attract versus what you actually want? That's crazy.
Yes, but from what if I'm remembering correctly, I think he had like 2 kids in high school.
Ooh.
Like before it even popped off. Listen, there
Okay.
wasn't a lot of sex education, guys.
That's unfortunate.
So yeah,
It does look like a bunch of books. I don't know which ones he actually wrote.
Okay.
Going back to Richard Pryor real quick. We can check it out though. Maybe
Okay.
something to double back on or whatever.
yeah. He's also a legend. But yeah, just I would say you probably would have enjoyed it just for
I know
the
I would
tea. And it's crazy to me he didn't do an audio book. Like you're an audio legend. Like you're
still
in
time,
studios
George.
all the time.
Yeah,
like
there's
I
still
don't know
time.
at what point you weren't like, oh, I should do because. What's also
Ooh.
missing, because I wanted I was on a time crunch, but I wanted to stop a lot of times and listen to the songs he was referencing and look up the art he was talking about.
Ooh, I bet it was. I wonder if it's in the actual book though.
Oh, like physically?
Yeah.
I
If you
don't
had
know.
any of
Well,
that.
it was just like maybe.
You guys will let us know if you've read
Yeah.
this. Might be in there. Who knows?
Yeah, on the physical copy of the book. Well, no, I had a physical copy of the book. It wasn't in there.
Oh, wasn't it? Okay.
No, because you see because I was just having it read the screen. There was nothing. There were no pictures.
Oh, so they'll still put the pictures in on that.
Oh
on the,
yeah, like
okay.
because I started out just reading it,
The actual-
and then
yeah.
gave up because I'm like I can't. I have chores, guys. I have so many. I have a list of chores. I shouldn't even be here right now.
Thank you. I
Like,
have so
should-
much to
I
do.
should be grounded right now.
Stay in the house to get your stuff done. Yeah, it's very much like that. One of the interviews I saw with him, it was on PBS, and they were interviewing him about the book and stuff like that. Sounds like Sly Stone was like, he was just like obsessed. Like there might have been a whole book he could have written about how influential that man was to him.
Yes. He talks about going to his induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Nice.
And just about how I guess the moniker Sly was well earned, but about how a lot of times he was just very straightforward too with his pimping, like just not pimping, but just his
Pimping.
manipulations and stuff. Like he would just
It's pimping.
just kind of say like, yeah, I want this. But
Okay.
yeah, it was also just amazing to me how much they were able to do while completely high off their asses.
That part,
Because
I would be a mess. I don't know if
I need to
like,
rest so much if I like just have 2 drinks. If I have 2 drinks,
one puff of marijuana will have me out of my mind. Damn near
blitzed.
laughing. I can barely keep a string of consciousness without
dead sober.
And just keep the threads. You say one thing and you knock my thought out of my mind. So like to be there and to like and to feel free in it, and like maybe you really have to surrender to it. I think I have surrendering is hard for me. I'm a fighter. I will fight everything. I don't want to surrender. That sounds terrible. So yeah. But maybe that's also, see, this is why I want to do ayahuasca. I know I said that with you.
Yeah.
Oh, not with you, but I mean, I don't think you.
Ayahuasca with me?
I don't think you do it.
I would totally do ayahuasca.
Would you do it?
Yes.
You said that? Did you say that? I'm sorry, I'm yelling. Did you say that? It went very high. Sorry, guys. That probably did not sound nice in your ears.
I have said on several occasions I would be. My only thing is like I want to have an authentic experience.
We're gonna go to Peru or something.
Yeah. Or even have the experience where I don't do it, but the shaman does it and then talks to me through the
No,
answers.
you have to do it. If we're going together, you have to do
But
it.
traditionally, that's how, that's one of the traditional ways of doing it, would have them talk to you that way.
I'm just letting you know.
But I'm a
What
little
I
nervous
expect.
about pooping myself. That's something that can happen.
See, you have to just be able to let it go somehow.
See?
I know. That's what I'm
'Cause I don't
saying.
mind. I know throwing up is a part of it. I can do that. No problem.
It all sounds terrible. Can you just be sitting in some water? You might die though.
I don't want to poop in water.
I don't want to poop on myself at all. But this is what we're talking about getting into, friend. I mean,
Yes, but you're right. Surrendering to the experience, having that
Hard.
communion with the ancestors, I would totally do that.
Okay.
Because to me, that wouldn't be recreational drug use
No,
either.
no.
That's plant medicine.
plant medicine, I'm trying to get something out of it. Some healing,
Yeah.
some vision,
Some
like
clarity.
reconnecting with your own
Not for
humanity in a way.
kikis. Like I
No.
said, I feel like it would be. I remember when Neil and Bianca from How Neil Feel did ayahuasca.
They did it together?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
I'll send you the episode. It's
Yeah.
a classic
Neil and Bianca boy,
That's where
okay.
he discovered. He was like, "Oh my God, I'm not an atheist anymore. I believe in God now."
Right.
Like he had
Wow.
this whole experience. But Bianca's
Wow.
was really interesting to me too because she kept moaning, "I'm a slave. I'm a slave."
Oh, no.
And like, but she didn't have a bad experience per
Yeah,
se.
but
it
she felt
is-
that.
you are going on a trip.
Damn.
And you know me, I don't like to travel.
I mean, I like traveling, but not.
I like destinations.
Yeah, right.
I don't
the
like
process of traveling.
traveling.
That's what it is. You're traveling. And it is funny how some people, when they're on a trip, whether it's, metaphorically, whatever, like there's something that, because this isn't the only group that you hear about like doing the drugs and stuff like that and making the music.
No.
You got the Rick James of it all. You
Rick
have,
James is in the book.
Is he in the book?
Yeah.
Like I think about this genre though. This point in history, it seems like a lot of them really, because I guess it happened in a point in history where everybody was really exploring and.
Well, you also have to think this was a time in history where transportation was a lot easier, and that's a big part of drugs. Is just getting the drugs to people.
Okay, there you have it.
Because I even think about how, let's just go back to racism for a minute, and just how when European powers were trying to colonize China, and one of the inroads they used was opium.
Oh, yeah.
And I always think about like, okay, well, when a lot of the powers that be were trying to destroy black people and like flooded us with like crack, I'm like, well, why not opium? But opium is grown over there. And you have to think about your resources and like trafficking it and making it profitable still.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that at this time where we're seeing more planes and more efficient transportation, there is more variety in the type of drugs.
Yeah, and I guess there was a couple of ways to be influenced by drugs, either in an artistic way. You even hear about that in the Harlem Renaissance. I remember when we read Dapper Dan's book, he was talking about like a lot of the artists back then, like they were known for doing heroin. Like that was a part of that art.
That came up quite a bit too.
Yeah, so it is interesting that either, you're doing drugs and it's literally destroying your life in every facet. And not to say that they're not when you're an artist, but how something positive can still be coming out of the drug use, which is just kind of weird to think about. So let's see, what are some other questions?
Oh, you know what? Really, just randomly been rewatching Chappelle's Show with my daughter, and the Rick James episode came up.
Love it. God, I love it. Did she see it?
Yeah.
Did she love it?
Yes. Oh, she's a big fan.
Oh,
Once
good.
again, it's really
Yay.
funny to see how Chappelle's Show held up.
My God, yes.
Because a lot of comedy doesn't.
Oh my goodness.
Because I look back sometimes on episodes of Martin, and I'm like, it was okay.
Man, Martin has me rolling. I'm sorry.
Still,
Martin's hilarious.
To me, Martin
maybe not
doesn't
every
hit-
episode, but it's so funny.
It doesn't hit as hard as it did when I was watching it.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
And so, in the 90s, whereas Chappelle's Show, that's, if anything, I'm like, oh my God, like that was so funny. And then I forgot Bill Burr was in it. And
Oh, he was. I feel like he was talking about that.
yeah, and
How he
Patrice
was on there.
O'Neal and Charlie, there were just so many heavy hitters on it.
Icons.
So, and the fact that, and because once again, there was a scene where they're roasting P. Diddy. And it's just,
I remember that skit.
yeah, it's just so funny. Just the stuff comes back around. He was like, "Oh, that's a shiny nigga," and now it makes sense with all the baby oil.
Yeah, man. I don't know, Martin. It's funny to me though. Just going back to
I'm
that.
not saying Martin's not funny. It's not on rewatch. It's not as funny to me.
Yeah, rewatching it.
Whereas Chappelle's Show to me aged like.
Oh my gosh, let me pull up. Some of my favorite stuff is his character work, obviously. So like, if you show me a compilation of like, what was his name? The something Jones, like the little karate dude. It's just so silly and zany. That kind of stuff. Yeah, and then the guy with the glasses, the security dude. Yeah,
Romy
Rose.
Rose.
Watch your mouth. Like I'm a crack up. If I see any of that, but I feel you. Chappelle Show.
Not
Shanae, girl,
Shanae.
dang. Come
Sorry.
on now, put some respect on her name.
Sorry. Yes, very fun.
Yes, good. Matter of fact, sidebar.
Okay.
They're about to do a spinoff from the Martin Show, the Vernell Show. The Vernell, remember Tommy Davidson's character? Let me pull this up real quick. Tommy Davidson.
They're just now doing a spin-off.
Girl, why? I don't know why they would be just doing it now. So,
Okay. Listen, if you can get the backing, go for it.
and we love him, so good thing.
Yes.
I'm glad they're giving him a job. Let me see what it. The Vernell something. What is his name? Yeah, Vernell Hill.
Oh,
Martin spinoff. Yes. Do you remember Vernell?
Yes.
Look at him. He was like on the radio and stuff.
Oh my gosh. And see, this is okay.
Is it gonna be a radio show or is it gonna be? So I haven't read into it. I just heard that in the zeitgeist. So I thought, okay, that could be fun.
Okay.
Executive Martin showrunner, produced. Anywho, yeah, that could be fun. I mean, like I don't need it or anything, but I'm gonna check it out and see what's going on. Is Vernell and Martin singing
think
at
of
the
what
radio
else
station?
came
Which
up in
one?
the book.
He always, he would always sing and stuff like that. I forget the songs. Anyway, funny. Also funny. Another character on that show. But anywho, all that to say, you guys, I feel like that particular time, to me, it's just fascinating, like how much like creativity and work that we still appreciate and consider classic now came out of drugs.
Yes, but can also come from sobriety. Like, because I think sometimes there's this feeling that you need it to unlock
Yeah, that's
that.
true.
But I mean, look what Beyonce's been able to do. Because I also think, like, remember on Atlanta, what was the episode? Teddy Perkins.
Yes. Teddy Perkins.
Where there was this idea that, because it was lightweight based on Michael Jackson.
Ew,
And
look at it.
people
I
are
just had to pull it up.
fairly familiar with the story of how hard Joe was on the kids.
Of course.
And stuff like that. And Teddy Perkins was like, well, it was necessary. And and then what was Darius was like, yeah, that's not necessary for genius. And sometimes I go back and forth with that. It's like, do you need that pressure to bring out the genius? But then I think of Beyonce and thinking
But it's a different kind of pressure though, right? Like, I mean, like I think.
Well, I'm not saying you don't need pressure at all, but do you need? But this idea, do you need abuse? Because that was abuse. Like at least in the Teddy Perkins thing, they're showing him being abused into greatness, playing the piano all the time. Whereas I feel like Miss Tina was able to raise musical geniuses without abuse.
Yeah, which is, I mean, of the two, it seems like it's the better option. I think, I feel like when I hear older people talking about, especially like the whole Joe Jackson effect, it's like how many kids did they have all together? 8? Something like that?
It was more
Jackson's
than 8.
12? Shit, it was a bunch of them.
It was 5.
Girl, don't have
6, 7 boys, I think.
How many
And
Jacksons?
then 3 girls. I think there was 10.
Jacksons. 9. Okay.
9. Okay.
All right. Okay, but like growing up in Gary, Indiana, in the time that they were, I think a lot of what the conversation I always hear is like, man, you had to, like, I don't know.
Well, but
the
even
poverty
Miss
meant you had to
Tina's
beat their ass out of
family,
poverty.
Like growing up in like this, it sounds like her parents didn't take that route.
No, they seem very loving.
Yeah, so
Actually.
I don't know. I think it might be a fallacy that's necessary as a form of protection, perhaps.
I think it's just the tools that you have at your disposal. I think
Yeah.
that's probably going to be more of an indicator of how you go.
Peace to Joe Jackson. I feel like
Yeah.
they are a little hard on him. Like I said, this was very common.
He was doing his
And
best.
it might have been, and like I said, he got him up out of Gary.
Right.
But this idea to perpetuate it
Right,
might
like
be
that's the way.
ill-advised because we now have more tools.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
have all kind of tools. Y'all.
I mean, I'd always plan on beating my kids' ass into, doing what they need to do. But after having them, it's like, yeah, no, I don't think, I'm not built for it. Come to find out, not really. And then, yeah, like I'd prefer for my kids to do things because they respect me. And it's like, I don't want to think that the only way I can gain their respect is by beating their ass.
with fear. I remember Larry
Yeah, I mean, it's effective. Don't get me wrong. Like a
It'll-
healthy fear is effective, but like
but
yeah.
more I'm think my kids are afraid of disappointing
that
me.
part, I'd rather that be the
That's
fear.
the general fear. I think Larry Wilmore, he told this story about how, he used to use corporal punishment on his son until one day his son was like, "Don't hit Johnny," like referring to himself in the third person. And that just was like, oh shit, I can't hit you.
Oh, you're Johnny.
Just that,
Oh,
but that
no.
whole thing of just like, but I mean, this isn't an episode about that, but it was just
It's curious.
interesting because I didn't really get a lot about his childhood too much. Just the idea that he kind of grew up a country boy and like I said, got his game from the barbershop.
Well,
And had no interest in school. The other thing that did you see the Piece by Piece Pharrell's Lego movie?
no.
Okay. Highly suggest that too. To me, it was very similar.
Okay.
When you see someone who, because Pharrell was the same way, he was like, I don't see the point in school.
Beyonce didn't either, remember? She didn't like school.
Well, but she would go. Like, Miss Tina was making her go.
But I mean, I'm just saying she didn't see the
But
point.
yes, but it was interesting when he was having problems later on. Some of that would have been alleviated by a little more formal education.
Yeah, that is true. That is the point.
Especially when it came to expressing artistic ideas. Like a lot of times he would have to tell someone else who was able to get it on paper.
Gotcha.
And do sort of the stuff that he didn't have those sort of skills to do. So even though our education system isn't perfect and it really isn't conducive to creative minds,
Yeah.
there are certain skills that you just kind of have to just get. And like now we got YouTube though. You can learn anything through YouTube for
Very true.
sure. And that's halfway what they got you doing in school now anyway.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point too, as far as education with creatives. Like I wish that there were like, when you find those students who aren't interested in the formal education, like they're like, I'm probably never going to be an accountant. Creating pathways for them to introduce, like showing them why business is important. Showing them why knowing accounting is important. This is why knowing numbers and statistics, whether it's analytics or whatever it is, it's going to come in handy when it comes to the business of the arts. I think that's what ends up being disheartening to a lot of artists when they get in there because it's like, I just want to make art, and it's like, yeah, that's cute and everything, but it still has to be like all of it is everything we do, everything we're involved in is business. Especially when you're creating something.
Well, not just
you're the business of you.
The math ties into the music. Like you have to use math to make music, like these tempos and the like teaching kids through that, like not just abstractly with like do this and do this.
Yes.
Just like when you're making that's like
Pattern
a half
recognition,
tempo, all of that stuff, and like you can tie it in so that it's exciting to them. Because once I realized that I use ratios all the time when I'm drawing, that made geometry easier for me because I'm like, I'm using geometry constantly, just intuitively.
Right.
That I'm using these sort of theorems instead of saying them out loud. And then saying them out loud helps to reinforce them when I'm actually just intuitively trying to make parallel lines.
Right.
You know, like that's a math term, but you have to use it in art. So
Yeah.
that's pretty. And the fact that they have them a lot of times signing blank pieces of paper, and we're like, we'll fill in the contract later.
Absolutely. Don't do that, y'all.
But
I'm glad that I hate that they had to lose so much of their IP and ownership for us to be able to look at those stories and say, like, now, which, we spoke on Ryan Coogler's deal and stuff like that, and just, making those opportunities so that you have this ownership for time. Because people it's just sad to think like you're creating this art that comes from within, and then somebody can use your art to continue to get even more rich than you are, and you have no say in it. That's crazy.
It reminds me of slavery.
Ricky?
Where
are you?
Because this is idea of like when people are so resistant to the idea of reparations, it's like we have generations that were never able to cash in on their work.
Ever. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's
crazy.
really, really sad because like his estimate, and when he first said it, I was like billions, but when he's talking about it, I'm like, yeah, he's been making, and music is so profitable, and it is so irritating that, like I said, one of the execs had never even heard of Miles Davis and is trying to, it's like, why is this person in charge?
Yeah, come on now.
It's like, it's so irritating.
It's gross.
It's ignorant.
It's gross. Was there anything that surprised you about the book? Was there anything in there you were like, oh my God?
Quite honestly, what I found surprising was just the amount of stamina they had for the drugs.
Wow.
Like just him talking about the things he was able to do high. And once again, I'm sure he had tolerance, built up and stuff like that. But like to me, that was the most shocking thing because I'm such a lightweight. Like I feel like, like being able to, like I said, catch flights.
Yeah, you knew where you were going. You could read when you were high.
Like I said, I'm sure that was just his state of being. Yeah. But also the fact too that a lot of times he'd be slid drugs that were tainted. Like that happened to him one time.
Oh no.
And just how messed up that had him. But yeah, nothing really surprised me too much. Okay. I think really it just got me thinking deeper about his contribution to culture.
Yeah.
Even did you ever watch the Cleveland show?
I've watched an episode at least.
You're familiar with the property.
I know exactly, yeah.
They had an episode where George Clinton was on there.
Oh.
And he scooped up Cleveland's mama. Because you remember Cleveland, or I don't know, you didn't watch it. Cleveland's mama was in a tumultuous relationship with Cleveland's daddy. It was they were that old, that couple. Mm-hmm. And so finally she gets fed up, and so she just goes on tour with Parliament-Funkadelic. And
not a
Mothership.
What are those called? Don't they have a specific name, like the girls that follow like a band around the country?
Probably.
I forget what they're called. Anywho, she was one of them.
Yes. Like she became one of them and started running around with them. And it was a fun episode. I should probably go back and rewatch it. It'll probably have a little more context for me now. But yeah. Just
oh, it just says a groupie. That's not what it was something cuter than that. That ain't what I mean, Google.
Yeah,
damn.
That was
Anywho.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised I shouldn't say I'm surprised he's still alive with all the drugs that you're saying, but I'm glad he's still alive. Like, I'm glad it didn't take him out. Yeah,
he's solidly in superhero status.
Yeah, congratulations
like I said,
on that.
Any black man that makes it past 50, man, or actually, you're God. Like, damn near.
Listen.
Like, that's really hard in America.
Definitely.
And like I said, all them drugs.
What was his fave? You said crack?
Oh, yeah, that became the
crack
number.
Is like,
crack
is a snack.
And like he said, he tried to, for a while, he talked about making this one giant crack rock one time, and he was like trying to make it a point to not smoke it, like, and just like sniff coke. But at a certain point, he was like, yeah, I gotta crack
a little piece off.
Crack is.
I'm just gonna have a little bit.
Crack just sounds like such an adventure.
My goodness.
I'm really.
Yeah, I'm not up for it. I'm gonna say. I'm not up for that kind of adventure myself.
No.
Way too boring at this point.
Like I said, I've told you, I don't like to travel. But it
just seems terrifying. I've just never seen one crackhead that I've admired. I guess technically George Clinton.
Yeah.
You don't think about them as crackheads.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they were. So I guess there's lots of crackheads that I admire.
Probably.
Technically.
Or at least their work. But you have to think when crack hit the scene, there were no crackheads yet. It's just
they were in the making.
Crack.
Right.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden,
we don't know the
it's
aftermath.
just a party drug. So you
Yeah.
think it's just going to be like weed or even coke or, because he was just talking too about how like heroin was a huge epidemic when he was growing up. Like he was even talking about how the track team would be nodding off in the blocks. Like it was that pervasive. At his high school.
That's so sad. The high school kids on heroin. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so it's like, yeah, thanks CIA. And so, because like I said, like, I love how Nino Brown was like, I don't own a poppy field. It's like, how is this getting into my neighborhood?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even grow that over here. Like weed, yeah. You know, you can see how weed gets here, but a lot of this other stuff, like it's very much being funneled. It's very intentional.
And sad.
And sad.
And you know, just a little side note about the drugs too, because you hear it makes it seem like the story is like kids now. It's like, oh my God, you know, they're doing all these drugs. It's like, this has been a thing. This isn't new. There might be newer drugs. There might be, you know, more pills, more whatever.
He was talking about how he felt like the government took Quaaludes off the market because they were too good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like Quaaludes. He was like, it was such a feel-good drug that it wasn't ruining your life enough. So
damn.
Because he said he described it as like kind of like feeling drunk, but you could still perform sexually.
Oh, so that's why it was always a sexual assault drug, the Quaaludes and stuff.
With Bill Cosby. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't gonna name them.
Oh, I didn't name him. I said Pill.
Bill Cosby.
Pilly,
but I'm sure
old Pilly.
But apparently that was the thing you did.
Right.
I guess that was just pervasive too.
And for everybody who gets mad when we bring that up, like he did it, but he didn't deserve to go down by himself.
Did you see the documentary that what's his face did?
The hair
guy. He's got an afro. It's a black man.
He was just on Trevor Noah's show.
Oh, was he on Trevor Noah?
On his podcast. It starts with a T. It has a T and a K in it.
Let me see here. Dang it, this is so bad. So bad. It's it is dang, this shouldn't take.
I can't remember because I don't really.
Oh, W Kamau Bell.
Kamau Bell.
Kamau
there
Bell.
was no T. There was the W. Kamau Bell.
Kamau Bell. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you see it though? His documentary on
No,
Bill Cosby?
but he was talking about it on Trevor's show because he thought it was going to get him canceled.
Yeah.
But it was called We Need to Talk About Bill Cosby.
We just need to talk about it.
We just need to, because I don't like shutting down conversations. Like if our goal is to have less crepe in our society, which is my goal, and I'm not a child, I know there's going to be some crepe, but just less of it. I would like to get the number down. I think that's a worthy goal.
That's wild that we have to leave space for it because we just know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we gotta leave space on the plate for crepe. I mean, you can't have a crepeless existence.
We can't? Why?
Apparently we can't.
I know. That's the part that's sad.
It is.
Jeez, maybe we should take a break. Let's
take a break. Let's take a break.
Gosh, this is going down.
And deal with the ramifications of what.
Yeah, let that settle for a second.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
As a human is.
All right, you guys, welcome back. Man.
Wow, what a fake ass book club.
It really was.
We really lived up to our name today.
I had a great time. My favorite part of this episode was lying to you, tricking you, and singing an R. Kelly-esque version of Usher Confessions to give you the news. That was everything. Yeah,
for real,
winging
no
it.
Doubt.
Oh,
did not read
no.
it. Oh,
Can't sing that.
oh.
I mean, yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, that was my favorite part. I'm just saying. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Guys, because I was like, man, I'm showing up unprepared. I'm feeling bad.
I wasn't. I can't wait to tell her I didn't do shit.
But you know what? I think while I'm in soccer, I'm gonna go ahead and just listen to Daniel read the rest of the thing to me.
Okay. I don't.
I'm actually, it's kind of funny. I think I might, because there's a couple books like Cola Booth. Every once in a while, I sometimes just want to have her book in my ears, and I can't. I have to sit down and like read her stuff because she don't got no audiobooks. I can,
Or you could always read them and upload them to YouTube.
We could put like a lot of work. You know what else I could do? Create our website.
You know what else we could both do? Lots of stuff. Let's not go down that. You're right, friends. That's a slippery slope.
Woo!
Of business that's not taken care of. So yeah. But also we don't really get to rate the book. I mean, I know I didn't because I didn't look at it at all. You know what I
will give a note on though, because even though he is a great songwriter, it wasn't written particularly well.
Okay.
I think he could have benefited from a ghostwriter.
Who was the green guy? I mentioned him in the, what's the name? It sounded like he didn't write it alone.
Oh.
He did have somebody writing it alongside with him, but maybe they just didn't do a good job of capturing his voice. I think sometimes that can be a problem.
Maybe that's it, because it wasn't like it was in any way hard to read because the stories are fast. At the beginning was lagged a little bit, but that might have been because I was physically reading it. Oh, okay, Ben Greenman. Okay, so to me, it wasn't the best. It was more conversational than reading to me.
Okay.
Because I felt like it was really him talking though. So I think they did capture his voice because a lot of it was, it sounded super funny having the robotic kind of, because I could hear him as a black man of his age, his turn of phrases and stuff like that. Like that came across and that was enjoyable. So it was in no way a hard read, but it wasn't necessarily written in a timeless style that would, you know, like years from now be easily absorbed. Not even easily absorbed, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. It just, as far as like really well constructive, it was no, what's his name? Percival Everett.
Okay.
You know how like the way he writes is
it's very structured, and I mean like it is linear too. Very like I mean polished as well.
Perfect.
Too.
Like it's obvious like music is his milieu and not necessarily just the written word.
Yeah. And maybe it reflects his artistic style in general though.
Maybe.
You know what
and
I mean?
That's why I feel like an audiobook would have worked better for this. It's in his voice.
Yeah.
With the musical accompaniment so you can hear, because he's describing music, but that's the worst way to experience music.
Yeah, someone telling you about it. You just have to do
it's like,
it.
And then the drums quietly raise up and
to a crescendo,
and it's like okay, cool, but
that's I think that's probably a good point to make. But even the title of the book is kind of like that. I have to picture him saying it to be able to be able to say it. Brothas Be, yo, like George, ain't that funkin' kind of hard on you?
Hard on you?
Yeah.
It looks like it was.
It was funkin' kind of hard on you.
It was, but it was worth it. That juice was worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
But you can also do music without putting yourself through all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that he's still here. It's nice to hear that he's got a performance coming up here, guys. Go check him out if you're in Indianapolis. That's coming up. And also just, support these artists, man. They're still out here making this timeless music. That's one thing that's still timeless. Like, even if you feel like this book could be something that could be hard to digest, the music is what it is. So it's just nice to see people shine in their wheelhouse. Like, it's nice to see artists be able to express themselves fully. And like you said, he's a quintessential artist. So shout out to you, George. One day I'll probably read this book. Maybe not. I don't know. But had a good time talking about it. Sure did.
And learning. And you still learned a lot. That's the important thing, is to learn about the ancestors, like the people who come before us, who laid the groundwork. And the fact that that is one quote that I feel like something that I did get from him.
He had a lot of quotes.
Here. This actually isn't a quote from him, but this is just something that crystallized in my mind while I was reading it. The only way to be a master is to stay a student.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
I like that.
Because I loved how open he was to everyone to learn from. And sometimes your pride will keep you to be like, what do I have to learn from a bunch of young white boys from England? He's like, it turns out a bunch.
Some stuff.
He was like, they were aware of a lot of stuff that I wasn't aware of. And that sometimes comes with privilege. You have time to really take deep dives into stuff, and I feel like you can learn from anybody, so never be too like, well, I'm too to learn from this person. No.
Yeah, I like that too. And you can definitely see his influence in the younger generations. I mean, I think Prince is who I think of when
Prince
I'm...
was in the book.
Well, yeah, I'm like, Prince, you can definitely see the pageantry, you know, the funk, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, he's an icon. And I'm really glad to have at least shared a little bit with you guys about his story. If you guys want, y'all should check it out. Let us know what you think about the book. Also, let us know if you said the book didn't have the pictures or whatever.
Hey guys, this is the editing version of Cat breaking in. I did finish reading the book. Turns out the last maybe 50 pages was pictures. So just a quick correction there. Pardon the interruption.
Okay, well, no. Anywho, Icon Living. Definitely a good episode. So let's get into what this next episode's gonna look like, friends. So we gotta spin it. All right. Yay.
Okay,
I'm so excited.
Since we're not doing a great job at reading, I think we should just take a break.
We're going to have to, friends.
And watch Netflix series Forever.
Yay.
Based on the Judy Blume novel of the same name.
Excellent.
I'm actually glad you recommended this because Netflix really wants me to watch it. They're like, hey, bitch.
This is for you. Get into it.
And they're always right.
Yeah.
Whenever I finally do breakdown and just watch whatever Netflix is throwing up on my
They're
launch page.
I
like it.
Yay, I'm excited. So this should be fun. I'm really have you read the book by the same name?
You know what?
Judy Blume.
No,
I might
this
look
was
for
something I wasn't allowed to read this growing up. Judy Blume stuff.
Yeah, I
would have
wonder
to
when it came
sneak
out.
and read it.
I gotcha. I might look for it.
I feel like I read what was the one where they were all waiting to get their periods?
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Okay, I think I read that one and maybe Super Fudge. Was that one?
Was that Judy Blume? I loved Super Fudge.
I feel like
it
that
feels
was
like
Judy
a Judy Blume. Probably, I think it was.
And but that
Anywho.
was maybe we should reread one of those. It's been
Oh my God,
so
Super
long.
Fudge. That's
It's
hilarious.
it is
Judy Blume.
Yeah,
Let's
it's been
go.
so long since I've read those. It would be kind of fun to revisit that.
Yes, I remember that. I forgot all about Super Fudge.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So I love that this is inspired by Judy Blume. She's a classic. I can't wait to see what they've done with the updated sort of story. So let's get into it next week, guys. So hopefully you come back and join us for another episode. Do the things you like, guys. Even if you didn't read the book, you can always come to our book club. I am living proof of that. And have some fun this week. Take care of yourselves. There's a lot going on right now, I feel like.
Your body belongs to you.
Yes,
so
it does.
be a responsible owner.
That's right. Put some brakes on that thing. I'm just kidding. Maybe loosen the brakes. I don't know. It's your body. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here. Peace until next time. Bye.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.